My heart's in pieces, so a little celebratory drinking is perfectly normal, wouldn't you agree? It was that junior from across the hall who ended up hauling me home. Borrowing some liquid courage, I took the initiative and kissed him. The next morning, Chow Chow woke up right next to Sushun. Finally, through the hazy mental fog, it hit me that we'd crossed a line we never should have. Sis, last night you were way more aggressive than you're acting now. You were basically forcing yourself on me the entire time, okay? He claimed I was the one pressuring him through the night. But I was completely wasted. My brain is like, was a total blank and I couldn't recall a single detail. I had zero memory of the chaos that ensued. Sis, what are your thoughts on a Nuna romance? It feels like you're constantly there yet never enough even in the tiny moments. Just get back to your own room. Sis, last night you managed to reach your front door, but you couldn't find your keys for the life of you. I had no other option but to bring you to my place. But sis, I actually devoured the college student living right across from me. The sky has officially come crashing down. Of course, I turn into a total disaster when I'm drunk. This time even plunging into the Yellow River won't be enough to scrub my reputation clean. I'm completely devastated. Haha, the boyfriend I gave 5 years of my life to ended up being a cheating scumbag, while I was left to drown my sorrows in booze all alone. I ran into Susun right outside the bar. He noticed my eyes were bloodshot from crying and trailed me home terrified that something bad would happen. Just like that, he followed me inside my apartment. As it turned out, I emerged relatively unscathed. But he definitely did not. I buried my face in my trembling hands. How could I let things escalate like that? He's practically still a kid. Sis, stop beating yourself up. I'm already 22. Shut your mouth. Sis, just go. Leave me alone so I can wallow in my own regret. That kid's physique is definitely top tier though. I heard he was the star of the basketball team back in high school. At school, my mind was drifting through the clouds all day long. My head was flooded with intrusive images of Sushun's body, and my heart was practically overflowing with immense guilt, while my thoughts were in a state of total anarchy. Suddenly, a WeChat notification pinged on my phone. I'm stopping by tonight to pack my things. Z Chong? He used to swear he'd cherish me as his precious baby forever. How could he flip the script so heartlessly? Zicheng showed up later that evening. Just grab your junk and get out, I've had enough. Can't you just forgive me this one time? Just this once. Should I forgive the hotel incident or the betrayal in the car? Or maybe that little stunt you pulled at your house? Zicheng, we're not playing house anymore. Have a shred of dignity and leave. Qiao Qiao, my feelings for you are real. I never even considered ending things with you. Oh, so staying with me is some kind of charity now? Zicheng, you're honestly not worth the breath. The moment I glanced up, I saw Sushun leaning against the opposite doorframe spectating. His face was a mask of pure composure, with the faintest, most subtle smirk playing on his lips. Overwhelmed by guilt, I hurriedly slammed the door shut. 2 weeks later, I scored a fresh photography gig. The editorial board wanted a group of college students for a commemorative issue, some May 4th anniversary or a patriotic feature. I scheduled the students to drop by for the shoot. When they showed up, I was buried under a mountain of work, until my assistant finally came to fetch me. I dashed over to the studio immediately. The pair had wrapped up their interviews and were just waiting. I expertly fired off several sets of portraits for them, then checked the roster to see who was up next. Mimi let him take his turn first. I looked up completely caught off guard. Susun was looming in the corner of the studio, wearing a neutral, lukewarm expression. But his eyes flickered with a knowing smile when he locked onto me. I secretly exhaled a long sigh of relief. Alright, so that girl was a provincial chess champion. Her features were actually quite plain. Yet she was surprisingly photogenic once the lights hit. The aura she radiated through the viewfinder captured the high-intelligence chess theme flawlessly. I had her rotate through 3 different aesthetics, and swapped out a few more props to set the mood. It's still missing that spark, let's go again. I patiently directed the makeup artist to touch up her powder, then captured 2 additional sets of shots. Throughout that entire session, Susun just sat there in silence observing my every move, without uttering a single syllable. After a grueling 2-hour marathon session, I finally wrapped things up with the girl. Sis, should I wait for you? We could grab a bite together. I've already got plans. Got it. I'll take off then. I recalibrated the camera settings, carefully reviewing the predetermined storyboard. His specific theme was basketball. Did you bring your jersey and gear? Let's start with that aesthetic first. He obediently trailed the assistant to the dressing room. When he finally emerged after changing, my eyes practically sparkled with excitement. Beneath that loose, oversized basketball jersey, his frame appeared impressively tall and solid. The harsh studio lighting made his complexion look flawless, and the definition in his arms was toned and brimming with power. His legs seemed to go on forever, and his overall proportions were nothing short of breathtaking. To my professional eye, he was the ultimate model. As I began snapping his portraits, my heart began to flutter with a restless energy. My mind kept betraying me, flashing back to that morning's chaos. I was so overwhelmed by panic that day that I didn't even realize how insanely fit his body actually was. Sis Kiao Kiao, mind if I head out first? It's my dad's birthday dinner tonight. I glanced down at my watch. It was already hitting 7:30 p.m. No problem, go ahead and head home. Sushun only has 2 outfit changes left anyway, realizing the rest of the crew hadn't eaten yet either. You know what? You all should head home too. I can handle the rest on my own. The second wardrobe choice consisted of a crisp white shirt and light gray crop trousers. It made me catch my breath in sheer admiration once more. The pristine white shirt emphasized his sophisticated and striking aura, and paired with those gray cropped pants, he looked effortlessly suave and incredibly stylish. I honestly didn't expect you to be this photogenic. You're actually outshining the girl from earlier. I didn't peg you for a professional photographer either. Then what exactly did you think I did for a work? I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It's just that I noticed. Your daily routine is anything but stable. Hardly the corporate drone type with a standard schedule. Hearing that definitely didn't feel like a compliment. Perhaps it's because he constantly hears me stumbling home in the dead of night. Have you been away on a business trip recently? It's been quite a while since I heard any signs of life from your apartment. Yeah, I took some personal leave to clear my head. He was incredibly well-mannered and didn't pry further. The conversation effortlessly pivoted to a new topic. You've still got plans with someone else tonight, right? I was actually waiting for him. I'm heading home. Lying through my teeth without a shred of guilt, huh? I'm not really into girls like her. What's wrong with her specific vibe? Her aura is magnetic and she's obviously brilliant. I just don't vibe with it. Honestly, guys, your age, don't you all worship that kind of girl as a goddess? He looked down at me, flashing a subtle smirk without saying another word. Checking the rideshare app, I saw a queue of over 20 people. Everyone has truly become a corporate slave these days. It seems even. The evening rush hour has been pushed back deeper into the night. How about we just brave the subway? The subway car was a claustrophobic sea of people. Everyone was frantically squeezing into the small space, leaving almost zero room to even stand upright. My entire body instinctively tensed up. Hold on to this. He moved behind me, reaching up to grip the handrail above the carriage ceiling, positioning himself incredibly close to my back. In that cramped car filled with a cocktail of scents, I could still vividly distinguish his unique fragrance. It was the scent of black cedar blended with cypress sharp and cold yet carrying a lingering trace of warmth. It was a soothing sensation like the air after a heavy rain. Is that Joe Malone's signature black cedar and juniper? The question looped in my mind for the entire journey. Whenever the crowd surged and bumped against me, or whenever they shoved past to reach the exit, he would extend his arm to shield me, ensuring that others only collided with his forearm, yet remarkably his arm never actually made physical contact with my body. He's the kind of guy who is exceptionally refined and respects personal boundaries. Should we grab a bite together? Wait, do you actually know how to cook? Heh, I'm basically a disaster in the kitchen. My culinary expertise begins and ends with instant noodles. Sis with skills. Like those you actually had the audacity to invite someone for dinner. Listen, you. If you went home solo, wouldn't you just be boiling noodles anyway? Younger generations should really practice more gratitude. Stop spending your life asking what others can do for you, and start asking what you can do for your fellow man. And yet, don't you dare look at me with that judgmental gaze. While I was already masterfully gaslighting people's fragile psyches, in the corporate world, you were still just a kid surfing the web. I have to admit, this fried egg is surprisingly perfect. If you're this hopeless at cooking, how do you usually survive? I either eat out or let my ex-boyfriend play chef for me. Was it that guy who came to haul away his junk last time? Sis, can I be nosy for a second? Why did you two call it quits? Was it some scandalous affair? No. Look about what happened that night. I just drank way too much. It was a total accident. Should I go track him down and explain things? No, I meant he was the one caught having an affair. Besides, don't you ever bring up that night again. Oh, this is actually divine. You hit the seasoning perfectly. I don't touch carbonated drinks. Wait, do guys who avoid soda actually exist in the wild? He paused to reflect for a moment. I've rarely touched them since childhood. My mom was a total drill sergeant. By the time I hit middle school, I'd basically quit them for good. I swapped to soda for a bottle of mineral water. You should probably cut back on the bubbly drinks too. At your age, you need to watch out for osteoporosis. Excuse me, student, but I'm only 28. Just like you, we're both cruising toward our 30s. What on earth do you mean by at my age? According to my latest physical exam, my biological age is a youthful 19. Sis, we are definitely not built the same. I just wanted to kick him and his bowl right out the door and call it a night. I retreated to the living room and flicked on the TV, searching for a decent movie to zone out to. I kept mindlessly cycling through the channels, finally landing on My Dangerous Wife. It was a classic Japanese drama from a few years back. The ladies over at the office had hyped it up and recommended it to me countless times. Susun finished scrubbing the dishes and emerged from the kitchen. We each claimed a spot on opposite ends of the sofa. curled up on the sofa, devouring movies until the dead of night. I eventually drifted off into a deep slumber without even realizing it. The next morning, I awoke to find myself still sprawled on the couch. Susun had already vanished into the morning at some unknown hour. But before he made his exit, he had thoughtfully draped a thin blanket over my sleeping form. 2 days later, the high-res sample photos were finally developed. I specifically handpicked the best shots featuring Susun, and after clocking out, I headed over and rapped on his door. Interested in seeing how your photos turned out, he stepped aside, inviting me into his personal space. The last time I was here, I practically bolted for my life. I hadn't noticed a single detail about his home back then. It's remarkably tidy and organized, completely defying the chaotic, messy bachelor pad I had conjured up in my imagination. The bedroom door stood slightly ajar, and I couldn't resist stealing a fleeting glance inside. At the sight of that bed, my face erupted in a feverish heat. About that night, zip it. I silenced him with a sharp, murderous glare. These are all yours, so feel free to keep them. And don't bother returning them to me. Have you grabbed any dinner yet? I peered toward the kitchen. The aroma of something cooking wafted out. More instant noodles, no thanks, I've already eaten. Just salad and boiled eggs. Eating that light. I suppose his physique makes total sense now. Is this your daily routine? More or less. When I'm flying solo at home, this is my go-to meal. I've never been a fan of greasy food or heavy meats. I assumed guys in your age bracket demanded beer, spicy hot pot, and BBQ for every single meal. Soda beer, greasy BBQ. Exactly how many bizarre stereotypes about guys like me? Are you harboring in that head of yours, huh? Such a cheeky brat. Do you prefer a balsamic drizzle or apple cider vinegar? Apple cider, definitely. The salad plate looked incredibly fresh and inviting, and the signature vinaigrette he tossed was surprisingly top tier. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed by you, subsisting on instant noodles without packing on a single pound. Your waist is still remarkably slender. Initially, it sounded like a genuine compliment, but as the words sank in, I realized he was playing with fire. Every bit of curves went exactly where they were meant to be. I'm literally going to pay you to never ever bring that up again, got it? Don't you dare bring that up ever again. Wait, pay you back, sis. Exactly how much do you think one night is worth? That was my first time, in case you forgot. Maybe I should calculate the damages for myself. The photo selection marathon finally reached its end. Reviewing every single shot in that student album felt like an eternity. By the time the final selects were locked in, it was already 9:30 p.m. Pack up your gear, let's get out of here. A familiar voice suddenly cut through the air. Qiao Qiao, it was Zichong. Just clocking out, yeah, talk about a coincidence. Are you heading home? Let me give you a lift. Don't bother. I'll simply hail a rideshare. I have zero interest in sitting inside that sketchy car anyway. Cao Qiao, can we just have a civilized conversation? We have absolutely nothing left to discuss. Ugh, why is my ride taking forever to arrive? Cao Qiao, listen. We were a couple for 5 whole years. I know for a fact that what we had was real love. 5 years of history and you're just trashing it? Hey. Zichong, let's get one thing straight. Try taking some actual accountability for your actions. I wasn't the one who set this relationship on fire. I'm telling you, I don't want to lose you. My only goal has been to make you my wife. In my past memories, Zichong was always the picture of composure. He was decisive and firm, a man who stood by his word. So why is he behaving like a pathetic immature? Toddler now, marry me, my ass? What the hell do you think you're doing? Sujin, back off? What does this have to do with you? Oh, you think this doesn't concern me? You're blatantly harassing my girlfriend. So you tell me if I should stay out of it or not. Lin Qiao Qiao. Your standards have really hit rock bottom, haven't they? So you're into literal brats now. Are you for real right now? What is even happening? That's exactly right, because younger guys actually know how to be respectful and loyal. Come on, let's go grab some food. Wait, how did you even end up here? I just happened to be passing through the neighborhood. I spotted him loitering out here like a creep, and figured he was waiting for you, so I stuck around to watch. Younger guys are honestly way more respectful and loyal. How did you even come up with such a legendary line? Actually, I'm incredibly well behaved, you know. That very moment. Night, didn't I stay perfectly submissive and follow your every lead? I specifically ordered you never to mention that again. Let go of me already. He's completely out of sight now. Sis, let's go on a real date. What is the deal lately? Do all guys nowadays have a thing for mature, older women? Cao Cao, get your head in the game. You're coming with me to wine and dine a major ad client. That's our ultimate sugar daddy. A total heavyweight every single year. He drops billions on advertising with our firm. Once the booze hits, he starts spewing perverted jokes. I do Chow Chow am absolutely not setting foot in there. Please, you crack dirty jokes in this office all day anyway. I'm basically riding a toddler's tricycle, but that man is leading a full-blown F1 racing team. I'm not going no means no. He specifically requested your presence. How can we possibly decline if you won't do it for me? At least do it for old son over in the ad department. Decline my ass, I'm not even remotely close with him. Tell old son to handle it himself. Didn't you two just have a wild drinking session recently? And you claim you're not close, I'm pregnant. Cut the total BS. You literally just went through a messy breakup. This is the prime time for you to drown your sorrows in luxury. Listen, old Duong, I joined this company under a legitimate labor contract. I sell my professional expertise, not my dignity. If you don't go, I'll end my life right here in front of you. Then go ahead and kick the bucket. Nothing in this world is precious enough to buy my smile, except cold hard cash. So tonight, old Duong, old son, and I found ourselves in a hotel suite to entertain the guest. The sugar daddy had a massive harvest this past year, so he's looking to double down on his investment this year and keep securing prime ad real estate in our flagship magazine. Old Duong and old son were beaming with fake smiles, toasting the big boss glass after endless glass. The two of them were actually being quite thoughtful, constantly shielding me from the pressure. Up until this point, I haven't had to swallow a single drop. The two of them were basically drinking my share for me. Kiao Kiao, are you just not vibing with the mood today? My stomach is actually killing me a bit today. I even popped 2 pills before showing up here, but the pain doesn't seem to be letting up at all. Haha, I've been grinding her so hard lately with back-to-back OT. Cao Cao is a rare talent after all. Old Duong, you've got to start looking out for your people better. Exactly. Even with the grind, a girl's gotta eat. Look at how you've absolutely wrecked the poor girl's stomach. No kidding. It's just par for the course, honestly. I'll survive. Let me tell you, top shelf liquor is the cure for all ailments. Drain this glass and I guarantee that stomach ache vanishes into thin air. Is it really that much of a miracle cure? My doctor definitely skipped that part during my last checkup. What the hell do doctors know anyway? Facts. Doctors in this day and age don't have the slightest clue about our tried and true folk remedies anymore. Grinding OT again, trapped at a client dinner. You actually have to play hostess for clients now. No choice. The big shot specifically requested my presence. Have they forced any drinks on you yet? Not so far, but I have a feeling I'm about to dive into the deep end. What's the current play? Where exactly are you? Old Duong is still running interference for me. Long Yin Shan Village. Copy that. I'm on my way. What are you plotting? Why on earth are you coming here? He isn't planning to pull a table flip stunt, is he? But he went completely ghost and stopped replying to my texts. A young guy, barely in his 20s, right in the absolute prime of his youth, having never before tasted the bitter harshness of reality, he might do something reckless or totally impulsive. On the other hand, old Duong and old son honestly couldn't hold the line any longer, so I was forced to join in for a few rounds. This white liquor is a nightmare to swallow. How can people be so obsessed with this putrid taste? Kiao Kiao, what the heck are you doing here? And who exactly is this? I happen to be Chow Chow's boyfriend. I've already summoned a whole squad of my brothers over. Wait, why are you here? I'm just grabbing a bite with my brothers from the Sanda combat team in the private room right next door. My bad, I assume everyone at this table must be Chow Chow's big bosses, right? Normally I never get the opportunity for this. But since we're all here, I'd love to toast the table. I truly appreciate everyone for taking such good care of my Chow Chow lately. The sugar daddy flashed a playful smirk at him, offering no resistance whatsoever, though in the depths of his eyes there was a clear glint of nice performance, kid. For the second round, Susun toasted old son. Old son looked absolutely flabbergasted, caught between suspicion and belief as he drank. The third was for old Duong. Old Duong shot a frantic glance in my direction, his expression practically screaming. Am I actually supposed to drink this or what? I gave him a subtle nod to just go with the flow. Since you've already crashed the party, why not grab another glass and join the conversation for a while? I watched the dynamic of the room shift. The sugar daddy was clearly unimpressed at first. He was looking for an opening to put Su Shun in his place, unexpectedly after just a few more rounds. The two of them were vibing like old friends. Old Duong, old son, and I just stared at each other in silence. None of us able to process what was actually unfolding. How on earth did they become instant soulmates? By the end, the big boss was totally charmed by Su Shun's energy. He was pleasantly buzzed by the time he called it a night. Kiao Kiao, this kid has some serious potential. You'd be wise to keep him around, is so. Preach. Young man, we definitely need to run this back sometime. Su Shun replied with a radiant winning smile. Once the boss left and old son stumbled off, old Duong finally narrowed his eyes and locked onto Su Shun and me. Old Duong, whatever's on your mind, let's save it for tomorrow. We're taking off first. I cut him off before he could start an interrogation, dragging Su Shun away as I spoke. I bundled Su Shun into a taxi immediately. Su Shun abruptly hadn't uttered a single word since we entered the car. The moment the driver pulled over, he practically tumbled out of the vehicle, lurching for a roadside tree to puke his guts out. Seeing the mess, the driver slammed on the accelerator and vanished. I sighed heavily. After knocking back that much liquor, he'd been using pure willpower to hold it in until now. After he had finally finished purging his stomach, I grabbed a bottle of water for him to rinse out. His mouth then sat on the curb to decompress with him. His complexion was a ghostly, sickly white, as he stared vacantly at the endless stream of city traffic. How did you manage to vibe so well with a guy like that? My family runs a business. I've been shadowing my parents since I was a kid, so I know the drill. Regarding those specific topics, I was just barely keeping my head above water. If you can't handle your liquor, don't go overboard next time. Sushun, when you messaged me saying you were coming, I was legitimately terrified you'd show up and flip the table. How could I ever do something that would make your life harder? I desperately wanted to flash him a genuine smile to show my deep appreciation, but for some inexplicable reason, my lips only managed to curl halfway into a grin. Before they completely lost their strength, I could only avert my gaze, pretending to be fascinated by the chaotic rush hour traffic, all while silently fighting back the tears threatening to fall. Let's just go home. This is the first time he's ever called me by my actual name. I stood there, paralyzed, slowly turning my head to look at him. His face was flushed crimson and his eyes were sparkling intensely. What do you honestly think about a Nuna romance? Before I could even find the words to respond, he pulled me into him with a sudden powerful tug. My entire face felt like it was literally on fire. Stop messing around like this. I just want to hold you while I sleep. Seeing his face and neck turn beet red from the liquor, my heart instinctively softened once again. He leaned over and pulled me into a crushing embrace. Even his breath was heavy with the scent of alcohol. A moment later, I was convinced he had finally drifted into a deep sleep. So I gently unwrapped his arms, planning my escape. But he instantly yanked me right back into his chest. He opened his eyes and gazed directly at me. In those eyes was a flickering, raw tenderness. Sis, since I've got youth on my side anyway, I really don't mind chasing you for a long time. My face must have been glowing bright red, probably even more vibrant than his. I watched his lips gradually inching closer to mine, trapped between wondering if I should close my eyes or push him away when he suddenly backed off. Actually, never mind. My breath smells like a bar. You'll think I'm totally gross. He mumbled incoherently, then tightened his iron grip around me and fell into a profound, heavy slumber. Maybe because he'd completely overdone it with the drinks. His breathing was rapid and slightly labored. Warm air kept blowing rhythmically against my neck. The sensation made my heart flutter with a restless energy. I stayed wide awake, overthinking my life for half the night. A spicy Nuna romance, is it? It wasn't until the horizon began to glow with dawn did I finally drift off into a hazy daze. When I woke up, the spot beside me was empty. I sat up, dazedly recalling every chaotic thing that happened yesterday. Yet my gaze couldn't help but steal a lingering glance at his physique. Good. Lord, talk about the perks of youth, those toned, defined absolute. Do you enjoy watching me change, sis? Was my bed comfortable enough for you? Are you actually feeling shy right now? Women of your generation, aren't you all secretly obsessed with guys who have killer bodies? Just what kind of bizarre misunderstanding do you have regarding women of our maturity? Misunderstanding the events of that night. When you were clutching my shirt like that, you were clearly expressing your true desires quite honestly. I specifically told you never to mention that, ever again. So where's my hush? Money. Good grief, this kid has some seriously smooth riz. Seriously though, was that night actually his first time? Chow Chow, who exactly was that guy last night? Just a neighbor from across the hall. Are you kidding me? I was genuinely about to ask when you'd swapped boyfriends. Especially after he pulled that hero saves the damsel stunt. You gave me such a fright I nearly had a heart attack. Before you drop dead from a heart attack. Hurry up and pay me the commission you promised. Go pester old son for that money. Perfect timing. Why are you just getting back now? I just wrapped up a game. Were you pulling another late shift? After all, clocking out, I couldn't hail a ride, so I just kept on working. Lately, we've been prepping for the 25th anniversary gala, so the workload is already insane. Why didn't you just take the subway? I ran into a total creep there once before. You're scared? Then from now on, let me pick you up after work. No need, really. There's no need. Your campus is way too far from my office. It's fine. I just want you to be able to get home a bit earlier. Are all guys your age this bored and free? Back when I was with Z Chong, we were both drowning in work. Sometimes we'd barely manage to see each other once a week. At that time, I always used to think how great it would be if we were both still students. That way, we would actually have the time to be completely obsessed with each other. I never expected that for once in my life. My wish would actually manifest into reality. Are you seriously planning to ride the subway? With me every single day? No, definitely not the subway. Last time I noticed the second you entered the station. You looked incredibly tense. Don't tell me you have a car. As luck would have it, I actually do. I was caught a bit off guard by that. I've never once seen him behind a steering wheel. But honestly, having a car is useless anyway. In this neighborhood, the rush hour traffic is a nightmare. You'd practically need a helicopter to escape this mess. There's a helipad on your building's roof. But I happen to have a two-wheeler. Is that sufficient for me to come and fetch you? I guess that's barely acceptable. So aren't you going to treat me to a proper meal as thanks? How about some beef and sour cabbage instant noodles again, complete with 2 extra golden fried eggs? Well, in that case, I suppose I can settle for that. The movie we started the other day had so many twists, it was absolute fire. You still haven't reached the ending yet. 1726 Chow Chow. Are you seriously intending to date him? Do you think Chong will actually quit stalking your every move? The two of us are finished. Shouldn't I be allowed to find someone better? A grown adult who actually weaponizes toxic masculinity just to search our psychiatry to obtain you said data sensation said keep what's it keep each of the say it actually yeah XR KPC said yeah but yeah insatiate. And then relies on a raw adrenaline rush to solve his problems, huh? Do Chow Chow if you had found a man more mature than me. Someone significantly wealthier than me, I could accept it. But instead, you've settled for some little brat. Are you playing some twisted grooming from youth game now? It's also pathetically redundant. He's clearly just playing with your feelings. Oh please, he's a college kid. He's flirting with you today and hitting on someone else tomorrow. Do you honestly have the time or stamina to play his games? Do. Chow Chow, don't you dare blame me later for not warning you. Do you have even the slightest clue how kids play these days? Do you really think you can keep up with his pace? Are you seriously, genuinely interested in finding out how kids play these days? Try laying a single finger on Chow Chow and see exactly what happens. I've never seen Zichang behave with such pathetic immaturity. It is honestly deeply revolting. Damn, was I completely blinded by love back then or something? How could I have loved him so much I was willing to die for him? Chow Chow, stop throwing this tantrum. You're already 27 years old. Do you honestly believe you can still find a decent man who's actually willing to marry you? I am the only one willing to crawl back to you time and time again. That's only because I truly love you. A little brat. Like that, do you really believe he's ever going to be serious with you? Now beat it. Stop hitting him, enough, don't you dare hit him anymore. This absolute pathetic piece of trash, daring to try and use psychological manipulation. On me, let me get one thing straight with you. My personal business is absolutely none of your concern. No matter who I end up marrying, I'll be sure to save a bitter glass of wedding wine just for you. But before we reach that point, if you ever have the audacity to show your face in my presence again, I'll take every single one of those vile, filthy stunts you pulled with her and draft a full scandal report. Then plaster it directly across your company's front gate. I'll broadcast that nauseating recording you left in your car for the whole world to hear. I stomped over to the kitchen stove. The noodles in the pot had boiled until the water completely evaporated, leaving them stuck to the bottom in a pathetic charred clump. A sight like that is enough to make anyone absolutely blow a fuse. I collapsed onto the sofa in total frustration, losing every shred of desire to move a single muscle. I have a feeling I'd probably lose in a fair fight against you, sis. He spoke about you in such a disgusting way, why aren't you livid? You're already this worked up. If I lose my cool too, then who's left to comfort you? I locked eyes with him, suddenly struck by a wave of intense curiosity. This guy possesses a unique gentleness and a sense of composure that's light years beyond his peers. He's so remarkably steady, like the surface of a deep lake, tranquil on the outside without the slightest ripple, yet completely impossible to peer through to the bottom. Soon, have you ever truly been in love before? I've dated. Why did it end? Probably because I was just too immature back then. I cherished her in my heart, but I was clueless about how to show it. So, have you figured out how to do it now? Whether I've mastered it or not, don't you already have the answer? Sis, I'm being completely serious. In reality, you don't have a single thing to worry about, being with me. I'll ensure every single day of yours overflows with pure joy. I've long since moved past that naive stage where mere daily happiness is enough to make me feel truly fulfilled. Do you understand? If things hadn't imploded with Zichang, we would have been officially married in just 3 short months. Then that platinum frame could have fetched a cool 7 million silver coins. Cao Cao, you can't just stand frozen at the altar forever, waiting for some new person to just wander up and marry you. You have to find the courage to return to the starting line and walk that long path to the altar with someone entirely new. Young people nowadays are certainly prone to acting on impulse. The following day, just as I was preparing to clock out, a WeChat notification from Su Xun pinged on my phone. Are you grinding through more OT today? Don't tell me you're actually serious about showing up here. My wheels are prepped and ready. Let's clock out exactly on time today. Right at the buzzer, I happened to exit the building alongside old Duong. Just catching his eye made me feel a surge of guilt. I scanned the area, but saw no sign of a tall, handsome youth. There was nothing but a lonely bicycle parked nearby. Qiao Qiao, how are you planning to get home, me? Probably just hailing a rideshare like usual. Wait, look over there. Right at the base of the steps sat a heavy-duty motorcycle. A beastly Yamaha was parked right in the open. Straddling the bike was someone decked out in a slick black racing suit. Su Xun locked eyes with me. I recognized him in a heartbeat. He pulled off his helmet and flashed a blindingly radiant smile. Qiao Qiao, is that your neighbor again? Is he trying to flex his wealth on you or something? He and I aren't actually that close? Young man, are you here to escort Qiao Qiao home? That's right, sir. The traffic is a nightmare, so I'm getting her back early to rest up. This kid is sharp, Qiao Qiao. aside from being a little feisty. Our girl is basically perfect. You're basically perfect, old Duong. Hurry home before your wife starts nagged you. So it really is a two-wheeler after all. Hop on, sis. All throughout the journey, cars were trapped in endless soul-crushing queues at every turn. But soon, Jun wove through the gridlock with his engine roaring, gliding past the chaos with total freedom. Perhaps because we were moving at such high speeds, I felt like I was literally tearing through the wind. Why did you bring me all the way here? To let this corporate lady relive her glory days for a bit. Then he naturally reached out and took my hand. I tilted my head up to look at him. He didn't return my gaze, but a faint knowing smile flickered on his lips. I smiled back and didn't even try to pull my hand away. The vibrant university campus, under the glow of the sunset, felt incredibly serene and peaceful. Clusters of students were aimlessly strolling along the paths. Susun walked in perfect sync by my side, weaving through the crowd surrounding us. Why didn't you mention we were heading to a campus? I could have worn a much cuter dress to cosplay as a college student myself. I'm not even interested in college girls. Strolling along the path shaded by sycamore trees for a while, two jocks in basketball jerseys heading our way accidentally collided with Susun. You want to hit the court. You guys hit it without me. I'm tied up today. His two buddies shifted their focus toward me and then from me, slowly trailed their eyes down to our tightly intertwined fingers. I suddenly felt a surge of awkward heat. Oh damn. In that case, we won't interrupt you two. Haha, catch you later. Susun gave a brief nod, his grip on my hand tightening secretly. Night eventually blanketed the entire campus. He continued to guide me through lap after endless lap around the university grounds. We reminisced about our childhood antics, shared the trials of our respective journeys into adulthood, and even discussed the various people we'd encountered along the way. Can we please find some food now? I've been grinding like a total dog all day. And then I hiked around with you for this long. I'm literally about to collapse from starvation. Isn't my company enough to satisfy you? Man, this kid is relentless. Why are you dropping suggestive lines in the middle of a chat? I'm getting old. I don't think I can handle chewing you up. There's absolutely no need to chew. I'm the delectable type that simply melts right into your mouth. We ended up in the bustling school cafeteria, sharing a humble bowl of meat noodles. The bell pepper noodles were nothing out of the ordinary. Yet he very gallantly swiped his student ID card to cover my tab. Once we had polished off the noodles, he ducked into a convenience store to grab a pack of gum. He peeled it, popped 2 pieces into his mouth, then offered it to me. I'm just worried that when we lock lips later, our breath will reek of bell peppers. You're such a weirdo obsessing over gum right after a meal. He locked eyes with me, sporting a devious, mischievous smirk. Under the heavy cloak of the night, I felt my cheeks beginning to smolder. I honestly can't withstand this kind of direct, flirtatious assault. Susun. I squinted to get a better look. It was that girl from the student album shoot the other day, the one who was posing with the chess set. She strolled over looking genuinely stunned to see me there. However, he gave her the absolute cold shoulder. She was forced to give me an awkward greeting, seeing as he acted like she didn't even exist in his world. Professor Zhang asked me to remind you. Report to the professor's office this coming Monday to finalize your thesis. Understood. Let's pick a time and head over together. That's probably unnecessary. I'm not even sure when I'll be available. I'll coordinate a specific time with the professor myself later. Don't you have a completely open schedule after 3 p.m.? I might have other priorities to attend to. Is this actually your girlfriend? You haven't managed to seal the deal yet, with a literal army of girls throwing themselves at you. Who would have guessed you'd have a thing for elderly women? If they ever discovered the truth, they'd surely cry themselves to death. Those words, elderly women, were dripping with such a venomous, mocking undertone. The second the lie left her lips, I was officially triggered. If you're going to address me, shouldn't you use gorgeous Unnie? Am I right? Idu Chow Chow have survived the cutthroat corporate world for years. Do you really think I'd let a college brat look down on me? Wait until you hit my age, sweetheart. Let me demonstrate what true refined confidence looks like. Only then will you realize just how delicious younger guys can be. Get inside. Are you seriously going to hold a grudge against that kid? A true grandmaster of petty drama, what is it you actually want? It's just a trivial matter. Hey, young man in broad daylight under the open sky. Are you for real? This kid's scent is absolutely intoxicating. The moment I stepped through the door, my mom called, nagging me to go on another blind date. The fact that Zichong and I blew up our relationship left her in a state of mourning for quite a while. My dad mentioned she broke down in tears several times. She was originally beyond satisfied with Zichong. Who could have imagined that right on the cusp of the wedding he'd actually commit that kind of betrayal? But my mother has since unleashed the raw, unstoppable power of a resilient, middle-aged matriarch. Fueled by that, boredom leads to obsession energy. Wiping away her remaining tears, she instantly began aggressively scouting blind dates for me. This candidate is a direct colleague of your youngest aunt. The word is he's exceptionally mature and stable. He has a very scholarly, respectable vibe as well. The marital home is already bought and fully furnished. Both parents are respectable retired educators. This weekend, no matter what, you are absolutely meeting him. Mom, I'm just not in the right headspace lately. Always lingering around that younger guy. Who would have the mental energy for a blind date? Do you honestly think you have the luxury of moods? Wait another 2 years. Wait until you are finally in the mood. And there won't be a single man left with such elite specs. Mom, marriage isn't a transaction you can just force like this. Should I wait until you're already wed to tell you to go? Who knows, you might actually vibe and elope right away. Fate is something you have to hunt down for yourself. Do you think a perfect husband is just going to drop straight from the heavens for you? Ugh, Mom's shrieking voice is giving me a splitting headache. Whether a husband's loyalty falters. From the sky, I haven't a clue. But I do know one thing. A Sushun fell from the sky into my life. I was tossing and turning all night. My mind was a chaotic gallery of Sushun's face. But I know I can sense the reality of it. Would it truly be okay for us to be together? I've already been thrust into the world of forced blind dates, frantically tossing houses, cars, careers, and annual salaries onto the scales, just to measure and compare worth. Meanwhile, he still has a vast, endless youth ahead of him to squander. And then there's that arrogant girl to consider too. Even if I were to, won the verbal sparring match against her, so what? She still possesses those naive eyes untainted by the world, able to look at people she despises, and freely flaunt her pride without making a single compromise. Life is riddled with things that can never be perfect. Not everyone who shares a mutual spark is destined for a happy ending. Friday marks the magazine's grand 25th anniversary gala. The publication invited a fleet of high-profile sponsors, advertisers, and corporate partners. The hall is a sea of opulent and sophisticated couture. A swarm of people with practiced social masks on their lips are weaving through the glamorous crowd to network and schmooze. Boss Chu, the arrogant prick I dined with at Longyin Mountain Villa last time, actually made an appearance. He was draped in a British cut suit and looked the part, nonchalantly swirling a glass of champagne in one hand. His other hand was shoved in his pocket as he strutted toward me. Kiao Kiao, you look absolutely breathtaking tonight. Much appreciated, Boss Chu, that young gentleman from before. I presume he isn't coincidentally dining in the suite next door? Today is he? You're quite the comedian, sir. He was merely concerned I'd indulge in one too many drinks. It likely wasn't just a textbook case of a hero. Rescuing the damsel in distress was it. That kid has some serious potential. His eloquence and depth of knowledge are far from average. His family must be major players in the business world? No. Honestly, I'm largely in the dark regarding his family background. He's clearly head over heels and hyper-focused on you. Yet you seem rather passive in return, don't you? I was internally stunned by his razor-sharp intuition. Truly a seasoned old fox of the industry. He read me like an open book after just a single meal, pinpointing the exact state of my bond with Susun. It's been days since I last ran into Susun at my doorstep. I haven't even found the energy to ghost his messages. Cao Xiao life is an incredibly long journey, but the windows of pure unadulterated bliss are rare. So savor every drop of it while you still can. Stop paralyzing yourself with overthinking. Is that your professional philosophy, Boss Chu? Don't play coy. These are the most sincere words I can offer. You youngsters nowadays are constantly lost in your heads. You're already plotting the divorce the moment you first meet, calculating exactly how to split the assets. You obsess over the finale before the curtain even rises, without giving a single damn about the journey itself. The experience is what actually matters most. If you're going to dive in, enjoy the ride to the fullest. Haha, well played, Boss Chu. Come along, let me introduce you to some people. Late that night, just as I was drifting off to sleep, my mom sent over a headshot of my blind date. 3 p.m. tomorrow, don't you dare be late. Staring at a face as mundane as this. I had zero expectations left for the so-called journey. I sat there like a compliant doll in Starbucks, staring across at the blind date candidate. He didn't exactly possess a striking or memorable look. Average height, sporting a bit of a premature beer belly. His only redeeming quality was his polite, measured tone. First, we waded through small talk about our corporate grinds. Then we swapped the basic facts of our lives. But our personal interests had absolutely zero overlap. After that, for whatever reason, the blind date conversation pivoted from personal hobbies directly into the cold logistics of marriage and procreation. My mom insists we must have 2 kids, ideally a boy and a girl. What's your take on that? Well, gender isn't exactly something you can just order like takeout. Look, I think the situation is like this. Your current career path isn't particularly stable. In this digital era, print magazines are basically dinosaurs. So once we tie the knot, how about you stay home and focus on raising the children? My mother mentioned she could move in and help manage things. I stared at his thick, stubby lips, moving in a relentless, rhythmic motion, occasionally spraying bits of saliva across the table. It was painfully obvious that he was already spiraling into a delusional fantasy of a perfect subservient marriage. Meanwhile, my internal self had already slammed the door shut. Hey, Kiao Kiao. Inside my mind, vivid flashes of Susun kept flickering like a cinematic reel, right as I felt so utterly exhausted by life. that I just wanted to vanish and end the misery, without a single spark of interest left in the world. The shop door creaked open beside me. Blinding sunlight flooded the cafe from the street, and a group of people stepped into the light. I cast a weary, distracted glance toward them, and saw the tallest figure walking at the tail of the line. Wait, wasn't that Sushun just now? I instinctively looked at the blind date guy sitting opposite me. Feeling so humiliated, I wanted to melt into the floor. He spotted me as well. A look of genuine surprise crossed his face. He glanced at me, then at the man sitting across from me, before turning to whisper something to his companion, and heading straight for my table. What a coincidence. Is this guy actually your friend? She really shouldn't be drinking coffee, you know. Her heart condition is actually quite delicate. Since when did I develop heart disease? Really, you have a heart condition? Well, it's not quite as severe as it sounds. How can you say it's not serious? Have you completely forgotten how to prioritize your health? What exactly is he playing at? I'll stop interrupting your blind date now. So you have heart problems? Oh, shush. Your aunt didn't breathe a word about this to me. Yes, well, it's not exactly what you think. It's just a minor, insignificant ailment. Sushun's parting words suddenly echoed in my mind. I won't disturb your blind date any longer. An abrupt wave of melancholy crashed over me, compared to this hollow ache in my chest. Being bombarded by my mother's incessant calls, or terrorized by her nagging texts was absolutely nothing. Du Kiao Tiao, what is actually wrong with you? What kind of shady people are you associating with out there? Du Kiao Tiao, can you quit pulling such outrageous stunts? Just how old do you think you are? Du Kiao Tiao, do you honestly intend to die alone? How was I being even remotely outrageous? What do you mean, what kind of friend? Even a literal college? Student is thirsty enough to be chasing me right now. How could I possibly end up living alone forever? Then why don't you take a good look at yourself? In the office between 2 grueling rounds of topic selection, we usually get a few days of much needed relaxation. Normally, I'd have my feet up on the desk while fiddling around with my camera gear, or drifting over to old Duang's cubicle for some gossip. But lately, I haven't had the stomach for anything. I just slouch over my desk staring blankly into space. Du Tiao Tiao, do you have to be so blatant about slacking off? What kind of example are you setting for the rookies? When I was grinding OT and you weren't, didn't you see me wilting? What are the newbies going to think about that? Are you seriously trying to lecture me about money again? I've told you 1,000 times already. Bringing up finances is a total vibe killer for our friendship. What friendship? Some kind of paranormal romance? Get into my office now. Sister Chow Chow, show him who's boss. Is there some kind of neighborly friction brewing between you and that boy next door? Spoken like a true professional storyteller. You make everything sound so damn philosophical. But I'm honestly done dealing with him. Friendly neighborhoods, harmonious vibes, civilized living, solidarity, and brotherly love, whatever. Haven't seen him chauffeuring you home lately, have I? So where's that commission you promised me last time? I want that cold hard cash in my hand right now. If you're done yapping, get back to work. Returning to my apartment in the evening, the moment I stepped off the elevator, I saw his door swung wide open. I frantically adjusted my expression, scrambling for the perfect words to say to him. Then a girl suddenly stepped out from his apartment, petite and adorable, rocking a tiny short skirt. She spun back, to wave a cheerful, bubbly goodbye to the person inside. He already found a new girlfriend. Well, I've already rejected his advances so many times. What's so wrong about him moving on to someone else? I was supposedly troubled by his persistence anyway, so I guess this officially takes the weight off my shoulders. What on earth is a Nuna romance anyway? It sounded sketchy from the jump. Fine, I'll own up to it. I'm actually feeling pretty devastated. Cao Cao, do you want to come in and grab a bite? I'm really not in the mood for salad. Before the words could even leave my mouth, my eyes locked onto a table overflowing with BBQ and beer. He yanked me down into a seat. I had absolutely no clue what kind of mind game he was trying to play this time, so I just kept my mouth shut and stayed silent. Hey, take it easy on the drinks. If I get wasted, just toss me back into my place, okay? I promise I won't take advantage of you again. But then again, should I just become the exact type of guy you're looking for? That girl from earlier, that was just the girl from the BBQ joint across the street. She was literally just delivering the food. So it was a misunderstanding of epic proportions. Wait, who did you actually think she was? I legit thought you had a new girlfriend, haha. Because I saw you going on that blind date, you thought I'd get ghosted and find a new flame. Sis, your creative skills as a romance novelist are actually top tier. But isn't this just a logical, psychological progression? Wait, are you actually jealous? No way. You're totally green with envy, aren't you? Quit going on those pathetic blind dates. When you're at those things, you don't look like yourself at all. When you're here with me, you look absolutely stunning. He was still the same guy I knew. But looking closer, something had shifted. His eyes weren't cold and indifferent like they usually were, but were radiating a very bold, direct smile. The blind date was a total disaster, wasn't it? You read me like an open book. Then let me officially stay by your side. That night, you had way too much to drink. Absolutely nothing happened between us. Did this brat seriously just bait me? I've been silently agonizing over this for ages. If only today, I could finally just give in to your desires. One morning, waking up in a hazy fog. The moment I opened my eyes, I saw Susun's striking face, resting right there beside me. He was propped on his side, watching me without blinking. Sis, you went a little overboard with the drinks last night. When you're sober, you're usually not that wild. Sis, are you seriously planning to dodge responsibility for me? Just how do you expect me to take responsibility? Stop acting. Sis, I promise I'll be a good boy.